Nessa, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
You ready?
The Rumble?
Heyo! We're back. It's that loud. Episode 11 of Positively Reviewed. We're talking about Loki today. Now you know it. But before we get into it, Nessa.
Yeah?
Let's talk about masturbation.
Okay. What?
Having sex with an alternate version of yourself from a different dimension.
Is not. No.
How we feeling?
Like, would you?
Yeah.
No, because it's a different person.
So you're saying it's not masturbation?
No, because it's a different person. It's a different universe, all right? Like,
yeah,
like that
I mean,
is
yeah,
a
you're
different...
not going to share any of the same DNA. Maybe.
It's a different person.
But, like, is it?
Yes.
So it's
like
totally
different
okay.
lived experiences, different person, but like, no, I wouldn't because I'm in a relationship, right? Like I would be cheating.
Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough. But I mean, that was notwithstanding current relationship.
Still, no.
I have a
different
big enough
person.
ego that, yeah, dude, I'd go for it. It's fine.
Got it.
I'm down for it.
I'll keep that in mind now that we have the multiverse introduced in, guess what?
Loki, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have I'm going to digress right off the top here.
Uh-huh.
I'm worried.
About?
That's right. We're starting a positive review with worry.
What are we worried about?
I've been talking with my friends. I'm not that excited about the whole multiversal angle they're going with MCU. I trust them. I get Marvel's earned the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not sure I don't know how it's going to play. Like, I think the multiversal time travel-y, all that stuff works in comics because you can have all these different issues and different stories and you get to pick and choose what you want to watch. And I think that's where they're getting with these at this point is, I mean, there's so many superhero shows and they're doing so much stuff that they really are. It's like, you got to pick and choose what you want to pay attention to. But movies and stuff, people are more prone to, I want to watch every single one. You just wait till they're coming out with like a new Marvel movie every single month and like 3 TV shows and all that. And then you'll be like, I can't keep up with all this.
They'll have that much content though.
No, they won't. Like, no, I don't think so either.
Although, I mean, on the flip side, DC Universe does have, during a normal season, there's Arrow, Flash, Batgirl, Legends of Tomorrow,
Supergirl. They're adding on Powerpuff Girls.
That's going to be DC?
That is considered part of the Arrowverse. Well, on top of what the ones you just said, they also have Doom Patrol. And they have...
Constantine existed for a season?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
God, that was such a good actor and such a good show for that. So
DC could kind of do it by having all those shows, and then they have all the crossover events, which are
Lucifer.
Super cool. Lucifer is
in
that universe. I mean, it's not. It's not connected. They don't.
They connected it. Did you watch it? You watched the Crisis of Infinite Earths? They had the big crossover event where they had all of the. They also have Black Lightning. That's also in it.
Yeah, but Lucifer wasn't in there. Yeah,
they had one of those where they were going to alternate dimensions trying to recruit people. They went to Earth 666, which was Lucifer. They had Tom Ellis for it. So they officially connected, but regardless if it's not part of regardless of them not being part of the universe or not being part of the connected universe overall, it's still a DC show, right?
Yeah,
it is considered a DC. It's based on the DC comics at least. So, and apparently Powerpuff Girls is CW, but not in the universe. I thought they were turning into the universe, but. Also canceled. I heard about that.
So
I thought they were rewriting the first episode, but because it was
canceled if it doesn't even exist. That's
so. I thought I didn't think it was canceled. But anyways, yeah, Teen Titans.
Yeah.
They got the
we've had several
Titans.
of those.
It's called.
So
And-
DC has handled the multiverse like decently well, I think.
Eh.
I think the TV shows have done a good job with the multiverse. I think DC movies have missed the mark.
Yeah.
Marvel movies are obviously doing great.
Yep. And the TV shows.
The TV shows are doing great. But the difference is that the Marvel shows are bite-sized.
Give me back Luke Cage. I want my Netflix Marvel shows again. God, I miss that. Mike Coulter as Luke Cage was one of the best casting for Marvel. People don't appreciate that enough. Just throwing it out there.
I'll take your word for it.
So here's my thing. I don't have a problem with the amount of content. If they want to go the direction of having 12 TV shows and a movie every month, I'm okay with that. I will watch all of them. I'm one of the few people who will watch all of them. But my problem is I finally narrowed it down. The reason being is multiversal time travel-y wonky stuff creates an environment of things not being as impactful. They're already approaching me like, they're already approaching. They've taken out Thanos, who had basically the power of a god. So now they always have to up the game, right? Now all of a sudden, all of the villains are going to become more and more powerful, and that's a problem in general. Is like there's power creep in comics. Is that now they have to kill Galactus or whatever, right? It's like they already took out Thanos, some random dude with another who has a few powers. Who cares, right? He's just a random dude. They took out Thanos. This guy's nothing.
Plus, they already destroyed, like, a god. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was just like, you know what? Let me take this dude who could legitimately be the biggest villain in existence and, like, just deal with him with, you know, some batteries and some scotch tape.
Like, they have underplayed Dormammu and things like that. I'm excited for Kang. We'll get into that with this show. But, no, back to the multiverse. It makes things less impactful. How long will it take before we see Robert Downey Jr. come back into the universe? Because they can do that now. They might have killed Tony Stark, but I'm already thinking that the new Spider-Man movie coming out, which again, I'm slightly worried about for a multitude of reasons. That's another conversation. But Robert Downey Jr. likes playing Tony Stark. He just wants to move on and do other things. And he felt the story of Tony Stark had come into play. But how long before they do because he'd probably be in a Spider-Man, potentially this next one, since they're potentially doing Into the Spider-Verse, just live action, that he cameos in as a Tony Stark from a different alternate universe, but it turns out he's an evil Tony Stark, right? And now Peter Parker's it messes with his head. You're
saying you're upset about this, but I see the little grin on your face of how excited you would be. So I'm getting some mixed messages here.
I'm into it in a way, and I trust Marvel, but I'm just talking about Marvel. I'm just excited about talking about Marvel. It just makes, they could just bring Black Widow back. There's already some rumors and theories that she might actually be back alive because they had to return the Soul Stone, and so if they return the Soul Stone, Black Widow would get her soul back, which means she's life for a life. And anyways, point is like they could just bring characters back to life whenever they want. It's opened the floodgates of no character will ever have to stay dead ever again. And it's like,
it's comics. When have they ever stayed dead when they're supposed to?
Right. I don't know how that's going to play in movies though, because
the problem is the actors and the actresses get older. So you can't.
They have to replace. Yeah.
Yes. And the multiverse allows them to recast whenever they want. Here's the real reason, right? Those contracts are getting too expensive. So they're like, bam, welcome to the multiverse. You can't argue anymore. Like you don't have a negotiation point. We'll just recast you.
Yeah, they can do that, which I assume they will. I will we're getting way too deep into Marvel because I already have there's potential for Thunderbolts happening with what's been set up with Black Widow and Falcon the Winter Soldier. There's Young Avengers. I think they're also potentially setting up for. There's rumors about Miles Morales. There's rumors about casting for Squirrel Girl. There are Miss Marvel has been cast.
Better name.
They've got
than Squirrel
Kate
Girl.
Bishop. Kate, what do you mean a better name? It explains her exactly. She's a girl who looks partly like a squirrel and can talk to squirrels. It has a squirrel army. Has her. They got Captain Marvel. Well, they got Miss Marvel, like I said. But they got Kate Bishop.
We already have Captain Marvel and a Miss Marvel, right?
Well, yeah, Miss Marvel's been cast. I think they pushed that movie. Or they're switching it with something, or they're combining it. I can't remember what they're doing with Miss Marvel's character. My point is they're setting up for a lot of stuff. And I'm totally all for it. But it does open, hey, we could just throw people in different Ironheart, potentially. So we might get a new Iron Man, but it's Ironheart, Riri Williams. So, which is potentially where we might see Robert Downey Jr. come back, because in the comics, Riri Williams is like a 16-year-old girl or something who goes through a quest, and basically Tony Stark did the whole, if you find my secret, you become the next Iron Man because you're worthy of it. Did a treasure hunt, almost scavenger hunt.
Ready Player One model.
He's the AI he becomes the AI for Riri Williams, Tony Stark. So, yeah, they got a lot going on in Marvel. Anyways, let's get in. We're talking Marvel. I'll get distracted. Let's get into the show.
I would like to remind
what are we doing?
Everybody who's watching, for those who didn't see pre-taping, the thing that Joker requested for the show was, let's get more distracted. And I said, we'll be here for 4 hours. I would just like to state that for the record. I don't care if you edit me out, mister. It will be in the Twitch VOD.
I won't need to edit out. This will be perfect. We'll just start doing 2 hour long episodes. It's fine. So I could go forever about MCU. This is dangerous. This is why this will be good, because we can continue all these conversations when we talk about Black Widow and Shang-Chi coming up soon. Speaking of coming up soon, hey, we're not going to be no podcast maybe next week. If we could find a guest host again, then maybe. Unless you are, you probably can't the rest of the week. I know you got a busy week planned.
There is a chance that we could do Black Widow next week. There is a chance.
Okay. Small chance. We'll put it out there. But I want to throw out, we might be missing. We apologize for missing a week already. This is probably the busiest month we've had all year. It's esports and convention season has kind of kicked off, and things are actually happening. So to give you guys, we might as well talk a little bit about it. We have DreamHack. We got DreamHack Beyond is happening, which DreamHack is an esports tournament and event that happens every year, a few times a year in a lot of different places. But this year, right now, we are doing a all online event. We've turned DreamHack into a video game. And both me and Nessa, she directly works for DreamHack. I am just a host and a caster and a bunch of other for their stuff. So we are going to be very busy all of next week because it is an event happening all next week. They've got a lot of tournaments happening, a lot of content happening, and we are both doing a lot of that stuff, casting and making content for this event. So yeah, and Nessa's also in the middle of still moving into her new house. So congrats on that. How's that going for you?
I mean, it's been great. I love it. Everybody keeps asking me, does it feel like home yet? And I'm just like, it felt like home the moment I stepped in the door. Like, more than any apartment ever has. Just knowing that it's mine makes it so perfect. And also, nobody above or below me. Nobody above or below me. I go
nice
to
and quiet.
bed. It's just me. It's nice and quiet, except for one incident. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but I chronicled my interaction with dueling Karens right outside my window.
outside your door?
Like they were
from your
right in front of
neighbors,
my
or-
driveway, and it was two neighbors, and they decided to. Believe I timed. I think it was 35 to 40 minutes of
What
them
were they?
yelling at each other. Before the end, they started like giggling and then were best friends. And I don't really know what happened, but I live tweeted the whole thing.
What were they arguing about? Why did they choose your driveway? I mean, I'm guessing it was neighbors on either side, and you're just the middle ground for them.
I believe it was my new next door neighbors because they also just moved in. And a more established resident of the community who decided to lecture them at 10:15 in the evening about proper dog training etiquette. As in, their dog barked at her dog, and she lost her mind about it.
Oh. That's dumb.
For 35 to 40 minutes.
I'm sorry, it's a dog. You can train your dog how you want, all right? Ridiculous.
But other than that, I love my house, and it's been great, and it's been very quiet and calm. But yeah, that was an experience. Welcome to suburbia.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's good. I mean, you can now be as loud as you want.
I can, and I have a basement, which means I can like crank the music up, and there's, earth on either side to dampen it. It's lovely.
And you have somewhere to lock Turnip whenever he doesn't listen.
Turnip gets his own gaming room. Get our own gaming room.
Yeah, that you haven't set up yet.
Well, he's not gaming in it yet.
He's like, yeah, he's got his own room. It's nice. I mean, we haven't made it yet, but he'll have it eventually. Sure.
It exists. All right. I think that's an impressive step.
Dumb. All right, getting into the show. Welcome to Positively Reviewed. If you don't know what we do, Nessa will tell you what we do.
Yeah, so everything is the greatest piece of media ever. It's true. Definitely true. So each week we pick a different piece of media, video games, movies, TV shows, sometimes even music. It happens. And we talk about why it is the most amazing thing in the world. As you can imagine, this may not be the most balanced assessment, but you know what? It's all about the positive vibes. And I feel like this should be obvious, but yeah, there are spoilers. Sometimes there's a lot of spoilers. Sometimes there's no spoilers.
When it comes to TV series, we're probably going to have more spoilers because there's not really a good way to talk about especially 6-episode TV series without getting really into the meat of the show itself.
Little bit.
So we might have quite a few for this. This is Loki. And also, how have you not watched it yet? So if you haven't watched it, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, we're pretty fast on this one. The last episode didn't come out that long ago. Sometimes there's more of a buffer. But, if you want to...
People be waking up at like 2 a.m. to watch this or like 3 a.m. to watch this show.
I was not. I think I took another 3 or 4 days to finish it off, but I got there eventually. So that's a show, Positively Reviewed Podcast. You're going to find us on social media and everything as POS Reviewed POD. Great name choice. Positive Reviewed Pod. Where you can find us there. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, we stream it live when we record on Tuesdays on our Twitch channels, Renessa and Pro Ace Joker. Then it's also Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you want to listen to podcasts. Go ahead and search for the Positively Reviewed Podcast, where we definitely talk about Marvel a lot. So this episode is really in line.
Yeah. If you haven't been able to tell, we're a little bit of Marvel fans. There's a lot God, I have so much to talk about Marvel. I got opinions. My point, I'm worried about the direction. I trust Marvel. And do you know why I trust them, Nessa? Because they make amazing shows like Loki. Which is what we're talking about today, because Loki is the greatest piece of content ever created.
Mm-hmm. The greatest.
Until next week. So this was created by Michael Waldron, who was actually brought into this because of him being one of the showrunners and writers for Rick and Morty. So, but he's also worked on Community, bunch of other things, and he is also working on the next Doctor Strange movie. So the Multiverse of Madness, which is tied into Loki, it's tied into WandaVision, and it's tied into a bunch of stuff. So that's happening. Sam Raimi's in charge of that. I'm excited. Sam Raimi doing horror. Doctor Strange horror movie, Marvel horror movie. I'm in. I'm into it. So we'll see how that goes.
God.
And then this was also directed by Kate Herron, who is mostly known for her work on Sex Education, the show, which was what, the Netflix show, right?
I have not seen it or heard of it.
Yeah, I believe it's a Netflix show. I think maybe did I watch like one episode of it with somebody? I think I might have watched one episode. It seemed like it was very good, but yeah, it got a lot. I know it was a very highly rated show on Netflix. So, we did talk about our past experience with Marvel. How big of a Marvel fan are you? Have you watched every piece of content Marvel has ever put out, at least MCU wise?
I haven't watched the TV shows. I don't know if that counts.
You're talking the Luke Cage and Iron Fist TV
like
shows?
Jessica
because
Jones
you watch
and all
WandaVision
those.
and stuff. So
yeah.
Those are very good. I'm just saying. I mean, now that it's all of it's in limbo, oh my God. I don't know. How are you not into Daredevil? Daredevil seems like your kind of thing. Or Punisher.
Tried to watch most of them, and they were all too dark. Like, literally, the lighting that they shoot all of them in is dark, and it irritates me that I can't see anything.
Okay, fair enough.
So I was just like, no, I don't want to watch this. And then also, like, I don't know. I tried watching Gotham, which obviously I know is DC, and I watched it for a couple of seasons, and it was very similar stylistically, and I got the same vibe, and I didn't want to keep watching Gotham because it was dark and gross. And I like brightly lit. And less depressing, and those shows just aren't.
Aren't it?
Yeah, they're just not.
A lot of them are darker in general, I think, because a lot of crime fighting happens at night. So it's the few. God, I love those series. Again, they're all in limbo now. There is rumors about them once whatever contract ends with Netflix of their exclusive rights or whatever to it, they might continue them, which I really hope they do, because they cannot end Luke Cage like they did. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm just saying Luke Cage was, I think, the best one out of the bunch. People will disagree with me there. That or Punisher. Punisher ended because it actually had a real ending, but Luke Cage, I'm still pissed about the ending of the second season. The writer for it was like, oh, we just wanted to actually subvert viewers' expectations, and we wanted to try and convince you to go back and watch the series from the beginning so you can see the journey so it makes sense. And I'm like, no, it really doesn't make sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I hate this.
It's like,
so,
you tried, and we did not.
I don't like when writers do that. I'm like, look, you don't have to subvert expectations. You built a character a certain direction. You don't have to throw, a left hook in there just for no reason. You don't have to. Don't do it. It's okay. It's okay to do what the viewers want, because that's what you were trying to do to begin with. You wrote a story so the viewers would think a very specific way, and then you decide to throw a monkey wrench in it because you're like, well, we don't want to just, we want to surprise the viewers. It's like, well, then why'd you write the story that way? I don't get it.
Remember when Joker asked what my previous experiences are with Marvel and how connected I am, and I said, not as much as you? Thank you. I would just like to register that officially in the record.
Yeah. Sorry, headphone users, I guess.
Oh gosh, no, it's good. It's good. Joker's very, very passionate about the MCU.
Yeah, I am a very, very into the MCU, just a little bit.
But that's why we're talking
it's my thing.
Loki.
That's why we're talking Loki. Well, I guess we might as well. We are already like 30 minutes into this. There was a little fluff at the beginning. We got plenty of time. We're fine. So we have the section. We switched it up. We're changing things up a little bit. Like Nessa said, we talk about the show too much, right? The entire point of the show, we talk about it too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got concentrated distractions, which is really just suggestions of what we think you guys should watch, because that's what we've been watching. What have you been listening to or watching recently? Anything in particular you want to get into?
So I got two things.
Okay.
I watched a show that everyone had been raving about months ago. And typically when that happens, that makes me grumpy about watching it because I'm so sick of people talking about it. And
right.
So I forgot that it was a show people wouldn't shut up about. And I popped up on my Netflix and I was like, I could watch this. And then I loved it and it was awesome. And I was like, all right, people, I get it. Like, you were right. I was grumpy, but you were right. So it was Bridgerton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is a period piece about the early 1700s, and it is fantastically done. It is just absolutely wonderfully handled, and
is that the one that's been referenced as 50 Shades of Grey, but period piece?
I wouldn't.
Was it?
I
heard a lot of women liked it because there was a lot of sex in it.
I could see the comparison, but like, no. But I could understand
it's good.
Why.
It's actually good. That's the difference.
It's not. There's a lot more happening in it, and the relationships aren't nearly so abusive. So one of the really fascinating things about it is that the relationships, a lot of the things shown in it, like the sex scenes and everything else, is incredibly well done. Like it's like a good positive model for how things should happen. Sort of. Obviously, there are instances because it's the 1700s and it's arranged marriages and there's all this other stuff. And so, like, it's not perfect, but it was remarkably well done. And I think it is compared probably to 50 Shades because the male lead is very, like, closed off and, like, won't access his feelings or tell the truth and has a lot of pride and all of this stuff. But it's different. But, like, I could see that. It was really good. It was 8 episodes, and I binged all of it, like on my phone, carrying it around while I was like moving into different areas of the house. I just like watched all of it last weekend, I think. I just had it on 24/7 while I was doing stuff.
Just the whole time?
Yeah, while I was doing stuff.
Yeah,
just like,
has that gotten a new season or anything like that?
It'll have another one. Yeah. It ended on several cliffhangers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I think it came out in December 2020, so we're gonna have a bit to wait.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit. What's the second one? You said you had two.
So the second one was a new song that Turnip showed me.
Ooh.
And now my favorite band for a long time and probably forever will be Disturbed. David Draymond, the lead singer, has such a unique, incredible voice, and this song popped up from this band that's existed for 2 or 3 years, only has one song that they just released like a week ago. This whole thing, the band is Evolution Empire. The song is Fist of God. And he sounds like David Draymond. And it's like David Draymond and Nickelback created some sort of weird concoction of a singer because it's like Hick David Draymond. And
Hick David Draymond. Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it's just so interesting to listen to. And so those are my two things, I think, that
I'll have to go check it out. So I'm a fan of Disturbed. I like them enough. So I'll check it out.
Well, what about you? What's your media?
I I have been watching, I mean, in the time that, where Nessa's taken time to herself and not doing the podcast. In general, though, I do watch a lot of movies. We just watched Pig, which was the new Nicolas Cage movie. That was actually pretty good. It's a slow movie, but it's a pretty good journey. And again, Nick Cage is a good actor. He really is. There's some amazing stuff in there. Alex Wolff is the other guy who did it. It's about a retired chef who has a pig. He has a truffle pig.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been working with Alex Wolff's character to just basically get some truffles every week, and then he brings him supplies. He's just living his days out in the woods, and then someone steals his pig. And so he goes on a journey going back to Portland. Or is it Portland? It's Oregon. It's in Oregon. That's what I know. But
so it's taken with a pig.
Yes. And cooking. Yeah, the other one was people were saying John Wick. But yeah, no, you're probably right. It's more like Taken, to be honest. So that's actually probably a better example. Yeah. So there's that. I gotta ask you, because I'm still thinking about it. The Harley Quinn show. Have you started it yet? Have you watched it yet?
No, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, you need to watch that. It's really good. I am still upset. I mean, I finished the 2 seasons a few weeks ago, but I still freaking love. Like, I'm still thinking about that show often. So it's a really fun show. We were talking about DC stuff earlier, and that's in there. That's another one that they're doing as well. So, and it's really good. They just have great actors in it. So, did I have any other? I have a whole bunch. The other things if you want to be prepared, if you like to listen to these and you don't want to be spoiled, if you want to be prepared, watch any big movie coming out. So that includes Fast 9, Shang-Chi, Snake Eyes, which apparently Nessa's not aware of Snake Eyes, which I feel is very much up her alley. So it's got attractive Henry Golding. I know that. You don't? Okay. Did you watch Crazy Rich? You ever watch Crazy Rich Asians?
No.
That's another fantastic thing. So, but Henry Golding, nice. Or Gentleman. Did you watch The Gentleman?
No.
In that too. Okay. Well, he's been getting a lot of work, but he's now playing Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe. And they got this new movie, and if I feel it's very much up Nessa's alley, but she wasn't aware of it. So
well, now I know.
You watched Black Widow, yeah? What haven't you watched? Did you did actually take time and watch Fast 9?
No, I have not. I have not seen it yet.
Oh my God, how have you not watched a Vin Diesel movie?
I haven't had time.
Yeah, I know. Well, you saw Black Widow though, yeah?
I did watch Black Widow. But see, Black Widow, I don't have to leave my house and
Oh, that's right.
I can just hit play and it exists, and I can do other things if I need to.
I keep forgetting they released that on Disney Plus, didn't they?
Yeah. So that one is feasible for me, but like if I have to physically go to a theater, that is significantly more challenging. Also,
but it's Vin Diesel.
I know. I'll get there eventually. There's also on my list is Space Jam. I haven't watched Space Jam yet. Yeah,
I still got to watch Space Jam as well. That was the other one. We haven't Lucifer. We still got to do.
That's right.
And then we were talking Gunpowder Milkshake. That's the one. John Wick, but a bunch of women.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Gunpowder Milkshake is. I have it's Karen Gillian. So she's the one from Doctor Who or plays Nebula or a bunch of other. I feel like you'd recognize
Nebula
her if you
works. I know that one.
Lena Headey. They got Freya Allen. They got Carla Gugino. Angela Bassett's in it. It's oh God, who's the other? There's one more. Who's the older lady? There's an older lady. I'm trying to remember.
I can't help you.
I've forgotten. Paul Giamatti's in it. Point is, yeah, it's it looks like John Wick-esque, but a group of women kicking ass. and I'm totally down for it. So I gotta get into that. It is, I can't remember, where's that streaming? Does it say where it's streaming? Netflix. It's apparently on Netflix. Oh, there you go. You don't have to leave your house for it. So we might do that later. I don't know. Watch those. That's the suggestions. Watch all those if you want to stay up to date for what we do on this show, which, as we still have to figure out what we're doing. We'll probably do Black Widow next week if it happens. Maybe. Do we want to do Marvel again? Maybe we should do non-Marvel. We'll figure it out. We'll decide later. We never know. We never know going into these what we're going to do next week. We don't think that far ahead. So
it's fine. Everybody gets to have a sense of mystery about what's coming.
Yeah. On to the fact section. I feel we got distracted enough. Perfect. That's gonna happen a lot. I feel we found a groove now that I can just talk forever, which nothing's new about that. But fact time. This is your section. Let's get into it. I
love the fact section. Okay. Fact number 1. My favorite fact. I appreciate these. 150 million is the current standard going rate for Marvel TV shows. That's 25 million per episode.
That's what supposedly all of the... I don't remember what WandaVision was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was around that, but I know Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a $150 million budget, and I think it's assumed that this one was pretty close to that as well. It wasn't as many... they didn't have as many action scenes, but they did have a lot of visual effects going on, especially with Lamentus and He Who Remains and all that stuff. There's a lot of good special effects going on. So, but
all right. So with 150 million, you could raise 201, not the Cruella week anymore, kids in Ireland per episode, costing a total of, so on average, a kid in Ireland to raise is about 124,000. So 201 kids per episode. We had 6 episodes. So we could have had 1,206 children raised in Ireland with Loki.
I was going to say, I feel like that's per year, but then it's probably not per year. Probably that's the cost.
No.
Yeah, that's actually just cost for... It's not a lot.
That would be an expensive kid per year. Like, what private school are you sending them to?
Tokyo. We talked about it. This is Tokyo. That's the Tokyo school right there.
Got it. All right. Well, if you don't like kids, you could buy Britain's most expensive house, the London Mayfair, for 90 million euros. You could buy 3 Gulfstream G650 private jets. They're about 4 million euros a piece. No, this is all together. You're buying all of this together?
Yeah, no, these individually.
Got it. Okay. 53.
You'll be out by then.
Yeah, you can buy 53 Lamborghini Veneno Roadsters.
Some Roadsters, Lambo Roadsters. Those are a lot of people's dream car. 2.8 million euros for that.
That's a lot. 15 private Caribbean islands.
There's a lot of private islands on sale. That's a whole market. I don't know if people know exists. You can actually just buy your own island.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's literally like a few hundred feet big, and you could buy that for like $200,000. Like, there's some really cheap ones, but they also can get very expensive too. But you could buy your own private island. I
get right on that. So 147,154 iPhone 12 Pro Maxes. That doesn't seem like enough phones.
147,000 iPhones?
That doesn't seem like enough for 25 million. Like, iPhones are too expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah, that's
iPhones.
iPhones are too expensive.
Over 1,000. I have an iPhone 12. I don't have the Max. I just have a Pro. These things are expensive. The camera quality is incredible, though. I did buy it. I upgraded. There's a whole issue with my old one, and then it wasn't under warranty and a bunch of stuff. But I had to end up going in and buying a new one. And they're like, you could just buy the iPhone 11. I was like, yeah, but they got the better camera, and I'm thinking about using it for actual content stuff. And it's been pretty great. So worth it. But, it was also like $800. So it's not great.
Yeah.
Good dent because I was having my what was the issue? It was my touchscreen. The touchscreen on my I had an iPhone 10 was just not working. Like it just wasn't responding at all. And apparently it was a known issue that apparently the battery expands and it almost lifts the screen up just a little bit, I guess. And then it makes it a little bit more unresponsive. It became a real issue. I got really mad and freaked out at one point because I was trying to get it to work and I accidentally activated the emergency beacon on your phone, which when it does that, it automatically calls 911 and a lot of other stuff.
Got it.
And I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't stop it. So I ended up getting a call from the police. They're like, "Hi, do you have an emergency?" I was like, no. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't mean to waste your time. My phone's freaking out. It's locked up. I can't do anything. I'm sorry. Please ignore this. This isn't, I'm being serious. I'm sorry. And yeah, I had to. And it also, when that call ended, it then also sent an emergency text response to my entire family as well. And I'm like, oh God, and I can't respond at all. So all my family members were like, help, I need help, or something like that. And I was like, oh God, this is really bad. Yeah, it didn't work very well.
Yeah, that would be stressful.
Yeah, so I went in to take it in. But because of a whole thing that happened before, it was I no longer could, all I needed to do was get the screen change out, but they wouldn't do it. So they're like, you need to buy a new one. So I traded in, got the iPhone 12. But side story, sorry, tangent, go ahead.
Let's see, what else can we get with 25 million? You can get 9 Mario Balotellis. 4.
So this is this is the 150. So the kids one was the 25 mil, but this is for 150 million.
50. Okay, you can get 4.6 million bottles of Moët champagne. I've never even heard of that.
Neither have I.
Okay, good. 3,000 nights at the Royal Penthouse Suite at Hotel Press Wilson in Geneva. 15 billion penny sweets, or the cheapest.
I don't know what penny sweets are. I'm assuming they're probably little candies, right?
Probably.
But I don't know.
Maybe they're like the little Werther caramels that every grandma has in their purse.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Because this is all, if you notice, these are all in euros. So this is all in the UK or Ireland or something along those. So, but 15 billion penny sweets. I don't know what penny sweets are, but whatever they are, you buy 50 billion of them.
I keep that in mind. If I need to feed the 1,206 children from Ireland. The cheapest, you could also buy the cheapest UK car, a Dacia Sanderos, for everyone in Buxton. I'm sorry, what is Buxton?
It's a city.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Is it a city people have heard of?
Is it a city or a country?
I'm assuming
pretty sure it's a city.
It's a city.
Buxton is, it's a city in the UK, I believe. It's a pretty popular place. It's a pretty big place. I don't know what it is, I guess. I don't know if it's a city or a country. I'm 80, 90, not 8% sure it's a city in the UK. And I don't know what the population is or whatever, but it's a pretty big city in there. So
good to know. They can all get cars with the budget from
Everyone has
Loki.
a car now.
Yeah.
Yep. Stuff that you can do with $150 million.
Now we know.
Yep.
All right.
Rapid fire fact section. I'll let you just kind of, I got a bunch to say on a bunch of these things, but I'll keep them short. I'll keep it short.
All right. So Loki is officially gender fluid and bisexual, according to the TVA.
That was in the first episode when he got captured. He was brought through the thing. They were reading off all of his characteristics or whatever. I love that sequence though. I like the sequence where they're like, he's like, what is this thing? And where he walks through the metal detector or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this thing? They're like, oh, it's just a bio scanner or whatever, biomaterial. And he's like, what does it do? They're like, it just checks that you're fully human. And if you're a robot or an android, it just disintegrates you on the spot. And he's like, what if you don't know?
I like that.
Like,
And
what
then
if it's something that you wouldn't know until you know, right?
And then the ticket taking. thing where like the guy didn't have the ticket and Loki's like, where to put it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very true fact. I don't know if I'm a robot. It's something that you're like, well, I haven't really thought about it until I now have to think about it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay. Waldron used Steve Jobs as inspiration for how he compares with Loki's feelings to being in control and being adopted.
That's how he decided that they were similar. He's like,
got it.
Loki is Steve Jobs because he likes being in control and was adopted. Very precise comparison there.
Yeah. Identical. Renslayer origins were never explored in the comics, so it was made up for in the show. She does date Kang, though. Here's your Kang reference.
Kang will come in later. You watched it. You saw him. Jonathan Majors. Ugh. Freaking love him. But, Renslayer, that was the kind of the head of the TVA. She was the person who's the head if you don't recognize the name. But she, they do explore her origins where she was, again, here's the spoiler. She was a middle school teacher or principal or something.
Looked like a principal from that scene, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's her normal life. So that's how they decide that that's her origins.
Got it.
Continue.
Tom Hiddleston still wants to explore Loki's shape-shifting powers from the comics. So we could have
he came back. He still wants to do Loki because he wants to explore a lot more of Loki's powers and specifically the shape-shifting stuff. So.
B-15 was originally a male character, but was changed after Masaku's audition.
So that's cool. Oh god, what's her? I forgot. Wunmi Masaku is the one who plays Hunter B-15. Mm-hmm. That's the one that she kind of ends up freeing them at the end. Mm-hmm. And she gets captured or whatever and is held in that cage. So that's her. She gets controlled by Lady Loki for a little while.
Yeah. She was cool. I liked her character. Miss Minutes is Mr. DNA. Like, from
that was
Jurassic
where they drew
Park.
Inspiration. Yeah, Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park. They're like, we want to have a Mr. DNA character. And that was Miss Minutes. Played by Tara Strong, by the way. One of the most legendary voice actors in the business.
The series...
We'll get into Tara Strong later.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to say, I would need more references there because I never know voice actors' names.
Every role. You'll know sure every role she's played.
But I don't, know the name. You know, the one voice actor that I know the name of is, I don't know. I mean, obviously, well, now I'm blanking on his name. Keith David. Obviously, I know that name now.
Oh, Keith David?
Yes.
Okay.
But then Jodie Benson is like the only other one that I know. It's a Disney.
Don't know Nolan North?
I recognize the name. I wouldn't be able to tell you what he did.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Call yourself a video gamer. That's fine.
I play one game. One game!
Do they have... I don't know if they have a... No, I don't think so. I was like, they might have a voice acting in Dota. I don't know. I don't think so, though. But, all right.
Dota
continue.
has some really big voice actors in it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you any of them. Well, no, there's one that you really like. It was in Dragon's Blood. There's a voice actor.
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, that one. I believe he is in Dota.
Yeah.
Okay, the series
Troy Baker.
Yep.
You know Troy Baker.
I mean, I recognize the name again because of that connection, but still wouldn't be able
right.
to.
Yeah, because it's Dota. Right.
Yeah.
My bad.
One game. I play one game. The series was originally meant to follow Loki popping up throughout human history as an unlikely influence on historical events. That's cute, based on the hiding in apocalypses thing.
Yes. So that was what they turned it into. So I put this fact specifically because that's what I originally thought this show was. I thought it was him joining the TVA and him just going through different events and doing the whole DC Legends of Tomorrow thing. Yeah. That's what I thought they were going to do with Loki. That's what I originally thought, which it sounds like that's what was the original plan for it. And then they changed it to whatever this was.
That's what it looked like at first as well.
Yeah.
I got strong Legend of Tomorrow vibes at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm. They had the whole, he was DB Cooper going on. The airplane sequence, right? So, yeah.
That was funny. Okay, so in the comics, each agent of the Time Variance Authority resembles Marvel comic writer/editor Mark Grunwald. This is a joke, as Grunwald's job as editor was to maintain continuity across the Marvel Universe. In the show, it's based on Kate Herron's experience as a temp worker, so the soulless bureaucratic office.
Woohoo!
That's a good way to maintain continuity. Just have everybody look like one person.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of fun. I feel it kind of changes. I feel you would know that you're a variant then at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot about the TVA. TVA is one area that I don't actually know a lot about.
But maybe
in the comics, so.
They'd be like, the Timekeepers made you and they just made you all look the same. So you wouldn't necessarily be a variant.
It's
It'd
true.
just be like, we all look the same.
It's a good point, yeah. You're all manufactured, I guess.
Yeah.
Well.
All right, Sophia DiMartino had become a mother before filming started. So to make it easy for her to nurse her child between takes, there were concealed zippers added to the chest of all of her costumes.
She's the one who plays Lady Loki, by the way. So apparently there's a bunch of zippers in that outfit.
I can't believe that's what she looks like after having a baby. I'm impressed.
Yeah, right? It was right around that time. That's pretty well done. So.
And then DiMartino used Atomic Blonde to create Sylvie's fighting style. The character was a combo of Enchantress and Lady Loki from the comics.
Yeah, that's where they drew inspiration for her as a character, which makes sense. I mean, when you look at, when I was watching, I was like, this is Lady Loki, but there's something else. And I was like, it is Enchantress. That makes sense. So
they never explained why she ended up blonde. As a child, she was a brunette. And then she's blonde, and not once did they cover that.
That is not something I picked up on, but you might be correct. I have no idea. I will believe you on that. I guess that's I didn't think about that at all.
Like, did they use Atomic Blonde as inspiration and then be like, she must be blonde?
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. She could she can't really do the whole shape-shifting thing, so it's not like she just shape-shifted her hair blonde.
And also,
maybe she did turn her hair blonde, though, to make it harder to identify her. I don't think it's that hard with her outfit, but, you know.
And the horns, yeah. No,
yeah.
I was literally waiting for it the entire show, for there to be some little cutscene or explanation, because Marvel usually, like, ties up everything in a very neat bow. What's going to happen is 20 years from now, there's going to be a Marvel movie with a flashback that's going to deep fake a dyeing your hair blonde scene with her.
Of course.
And that's what's going to happen.
There's a lot of that. My thing is also, she grew up, right? She's been on the run since she was a child. How does her outfit still fit? Who made her clothes? There's a lot. When you dive into it, you're like, there might be some plot holes here.
All right, those were our fast facts. So now we have...
Those are the fast. We got a deeper one.
Yeah.
I'll get into these. So the first, I'm going to skip ahead to the first one. Is the show creators cite a wide variety of influences on the show. The sci-fi films Brazil, Metropolis, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite movies. Alien, Blade Runner, and Jurassic Park. The crime films The Silence of the Lambs, Seven, Zodiac, Catch Me If You Can, and Quentin Tarantino, the films of Quentin Tarantino, the action film Armageddon, surreal kids show Teletubbies, and the fantasy Toy Story, the adventure comedy Rick and Morty, and the dramas Mad Men and Before Sunrise. They took all of those shows as inspiration for this.
I'm sorry, where did the Teletubbies inspiration fit in? I'm gonna need some illumination on where
that
Teletubbies.
I am curious about as well. I hadn't actually read any of these yet, so there's a lot. I mean, Silence of the Lambs, Seven, and Zodiac, that all make sense with the whole, like, them chasing down this rogue Loki, pretty much, right? So I see that one. Jurassic Park, we know, is the Mr. DNA. Blade Runner, I think, was the Lamentus scene, which honestly, when I saw it, I guess I can see where people think Blade Runner. I actually thought more Total Recall in my opinion, but I get that. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's a lot of these make sense, but yeah, Teletubbies, all I can think is the cartoon-ish stuff that they did with Miss Minutes, part of some of those sequences and stuff, which reminded me more of like Mickey Mouse than anything or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know where Teletubbies...
I mean, I didn't watch Teletubbies. It was after my time.
Was it just the TV screen that they had to track the thing look like the ones that were in their stomachs? Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I could see that, the like old school TVs they had. Maybe that's what it is.
Man, the Teletubbies are scary. There's a lot of stuff going on with them. They're pretty active on Twitter, by the way. Still,
Teletubbies.
They're a social media. Yeah, Teletubbies.
Why do you know that?
Because they get trending on Twitter all the time. That's what I'm saying. I think they just had
trending tags are tailored to you. Not everybody sees the same trending topics.
They had a whole thing about cryptocurrency. The Teletubbies. Hey, I didn't watch Teletubbies as a kid, but I think they made their own cryptocurrency, I believe.
Oh, you're
when
kidding.
all the stock market and cryptocurrency stuff was going on, I think the Teletubbies, they started trending because I think they made their own cryptocurrency or something along those lines. So, look. They be trending. Nothing to do with me. They're just popping up. They're doing stuff.
All right. Teletubbies and Loki. Got it.
Yep. And then I guess the really deep fact is Waldron, I said Waldron compares or Feige thinks Wilson is perfect for Mobius because Mobius just doesn't really care about the MCU as a whole, and neither does Owen Wilson. So Wilson compares, he kind of based his character off Jack Cates from 48 Hours. But he also just doesn't care about the MCU. He apparently never watched any of the movies or anything of that. So the prepping that he had to do for the role was Tom Hiddleston basically just sat down with him and showed him a bunch of the films and a bunch of the film moments to help him prep. And then they also sat down and watched Good Will Hunting together. And that's the relationship they did, is kind of Will's character, and which is Matt Damon's character in that movie, and Sean, which is Robin Williams' character, that's kind of it, is that he's like this therapeutic mentor, was the vibe that they went for. So that's
it worked. They got there.
But yeah, apparently there are people out there. Owen Wilson is one of those people who just hasn't paid attention to the last 10 years of cinema at all. He just doesn't seem to care. So, and now he's in the universe. So good on him. Maybe he'll care now, but I think he still doesn't. I think he's like, whatever.
I was surprised when I saw him.
It seems like his vibe.
What is Owen Wilson doing in the MCU?
I think this is a good segue to get into the show. I actually loved Owen Wilson's portrayal of Mobius in this, and I love the relationship between him and Loki, but I had a hard time believing it, I will say. I was like, they have some very emotional scenes of them saying goodbye to each other, and I'm like, bruh, you just met him like 2 days ago. I know time is like weird kind of in the TVA, but you met him like two days ago. This, like, you guys really bonded. They got the whole friends for life thing going on already, but it's been 2 days, okay? But I think it's just a byproduct. I think it's one of those, they're doing too few episodes. I want more. I want those 12 seasons. I did feel
like 6 was not enough.
Even then, they did have some filler. They honestly had some filler content in it, but it does have a hard time stretching some of the characters' relationships when it's only been 6 episodes. So.
I remember watching maybe like the 4th episode or the 5th, and I was just like, how are they going to wrap this all up in one?
You do. You get to it and you're like, bruh, there still feels like there's 4 episodes left, but I guess they're going to wrap it up next episode. Don't know how, but okay. There's a lot of stuff happening. Luckily, we got to confirm season 2. Spoiler, there is going to be a season 2, which I'm excited for, because we haven't gotten any of that. WandaVision, I was hoping, I thought so these TV shows were more of a mini series.
Mhm.
When they said TV show, I really do think, they have serial episodes that also have multiple seasons. But WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier were mini series. They were like one off. We have this show and then it's done and then we move on. WandaVision did end in a way that I don't know how they would do another season of WandaVision. I don't think it would work.
I think that's a one-off. Like Loki isn't. Falcon and the Winter Soldier doesn't have to be.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I hope they do more, but they're also tying it into the overall. I mean, they're doing Captain America 4. We got a confirmation. We talked about it. We're getting a new Captain America movie. But I could see after that, they do another Falcon and the Winter Soldier season, which I would be a total fan of. So that's the one that I really hope they would do more of. But Loki, it seems like this is how they're going to keep Tom Hiddleston in the universe, because I don't think they want to wrap him back into the movies just yet. I think they want to keep him in.
I think his role in the movies are a little overdone, right? Like how many more times can you have Loki show up, pretend to be helpful, and then
backstab? The only way they made jokes about it in Ragnarok, right?
Yeah, the only way to...
It's like, you're predictable. We get it.
The only way to make that work is to have him properly, which they did in Loki, is to properly have him go through a redemption arc. And that could work for putting him back in the movie. That's what I hope for. Every time I watch Loki, I want him desperately to be redeemed. It bothers me that he is a one-note character and that they keep falling back on it.
I don't know if I disagree. I mean, you're right. They do go back on it where he always is. He's very selfish in himself. But I think that was kind of the end of Ragnarok, right? Where he comes in with the ship and he's like, your savior is here, right? I think that was very much, it was him deciding hey, I think it is my turn to be a hero. I don't have to be... It's him being egotistical, but him also trying to be there for a bunch of other people, even if it meant he might put himself in harm's way. Is that he really did care about the people of Asgard. And I think in that moment is when, if he called Mjolnir to him, he would have got the hand. Well, actually, Mjolnir was broken, but he might have been able to be king. He might have earned that right of King of Asgard, at least for that small little window of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they did a good job with him. But I will agree, I think they've erased it because he's dead.
Yeah.
But then they just brought him back to life. Like I was talking about with multiverse stuff. But that was the other thing I had a hard time believing in this, was that this was supposed to be the Loki directly after the Avengers. So he hasn't gone through all of the stuff of his mother dying. I mean, he did see it all on the TV screen, but his mother dying, and he's responsible for it, and working with Thor and them bonding, and he hasn't had all that. I remember seeing a sequence where someone showed when he was captured in the first Avengers, and he's talking to Black Widow, and he has this really kind of dark monologue of where he's talking about how he's describing how Black Widow is gonna die by sicking Clint Barton, who's been brainwashed on her, and would kill her slowly and all that stuff. And they go from that guy to what we get in Loki. And I think that was just that disconnect of well, that's where we already, we made our bed by saying that this is the Loki from Avengers, but that's not, we want to actually focus on the Loki that we had built already from all the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the other disconnect. But it's me being overly picky. I like the current Loki. I don't like evil Loki. I like the whole anti-hero Loki.
I like the redeemed Loki. I like what they did in the show. And oh gosh, when they put him in that little time loop where his sister just keeps beating him up
with Sif. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Is that his sister, or is that a different?
No.
What is she?
I would hope not, but I mean, maybe Asgard does things differently, because the whole thing is that she's really into Thor.
Right.
So
okay.
she's right,
yeah,
but
so not.
Obviously he's into Jane Foster. So, yeah. So hopefully not. but no, yeah, they're not related. It's just one of the warriors. God, what are they called? I don't remember the name. They were mentioned in the very first Thor. No. Sif is not part of Valkyries. That's just the one Valkyrie. She's the only one remaining. She's just part of Thor's team of warriors.
Got
Warrior
it.
7 or I can't remember what their name was, but they have all his crew that's who he goes into battle. The Warriors 3. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right, there is only 3 of them. I was like, I don't think there's 7. Right. But there you go. I think they're all dead now, other than Sif. I think it was confirmed Sif is, I can't remember if she got dusted or she was still around, but she apparently was. I know she made a cameo in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which meant she was kind of off and doing her own thing. So I don't think she was there when like all of the warrior people died on Asgard from Hela. So I think she's still technically in the universe in some way. But we'll find out. We might find out in Thor: Love and Thunder.
To see. All right. Are you ready for the meaty meat?
Oh, yeah. Have we really not even talked about the show yet?
I mean, we have. We've talked about the show quite a bit. Just meandering. So I don't know if you want to.
I guess we're only an hour. We're only an hour and like 20 minutes into this. It's fine. Well, we're only an hour. We got plenty of time. Look, we can distract ourselves as much as we want. We've got time. If we go to like an hour and 40, that's fine. We'll just start making episodes an hour 40, and then we'll start making them 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then 3 hours, and then at that point, we'll just have like 10-hour episodes.
This is how Joker slowly pulls me into doing a 24-hour stream against my will.
Woo!
I would not make it.
We should. I would love to do a 24-hour stream with you. That would. I actually think that would be a lot of fun. We could play Gang Beasts. We could play.
I like sleep. Sleep is great.
We could play.
Big fan of sleep.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Really big fan of sleep. Like major fan of sleep.
Play Resident Evil games. 7
We've lost him, everybody.
8.
We've lost him.
We could play. I'll make it happen. I'll force her.
Goodness. Okay, well,
we'll do it.
If you don't know what Loki is, and somehow you're still here.
About what?
You should maybe be slightly concerned, but the copy for Loki, the marketing materials, the blurb.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
After stealing the Tesseract during the events of Avengers Endgame from 2019, an alternate version of Loki is brought to the mysterious Time Variance Authority, the TVA, a bureaucratic organization that exists outside of time and space and monitors the timeline. They give Loki a choice, a face being erased from existence due to being a time variant, or help fix the timeline and stop a greater threat. Loki ends up trapped in his own crime thriller, traveling through time. I don't know if that's an accurate description. I guess they didn't want to spoil.
Not really. I feel, again, that feels, well, not crime thriller. I feel that's pretty good. Like they said, 7, right? Compared to like 7. Did you ever watch 7? What's in the box?
That's what that's from? No, I don't want to watch that
7.
movie.
You don't want to watch? It's an incredible movie. First off, besides that, I mean, people make fun of that thing all the time, but it's actually a very incredibly good crime movie. I mean, it's Brad Pitt and Samuel L. Jackson, and it's very good. Like, it's a very, very, very good movie. So watch it, is my suggestion, because it's good. The whole, as I said, the what's in the box thing is referenced, but yeah, it's Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's also in it, but it's just about a serial killer. It's around the lines of Zodiac Killer. It's a serial killer that kills along the 7 deadly sins, is what he kills people, is how he gluttony and pride and a lot of things like that. It's got a twisted ending and stuff like that it's all part of the master. It's really good. Very, very good. I'd suggest it. But so yeah, if you don't know, there it is, 7. That's what they were talking about, is that, they're chasing kind of a serial killer, which is Lady Loki in this instance. Mm-hmm. But we talked about it. I think there should have been more episodes. I would have loved seeing that bond between Mobius and Loki grown a little more. Like, I would have loved to see him actually being a time variant agent that before they start hunting down Lady Loki, they're just going around and he's pruning other time variants, right? They're just going out and capturing their own. Even if they did like a montage sequence of them, and it turns out that after like 6 months, even 6 months to a year of him being at the TVA, finally the whole Lady Loki thing happens, right? That's when all the plans come to fruition. But I feel they just jumped right into it.
I wanted buddy cop. I wanted white collar.
We didn't get it. Yes, that's a fantastic. But we didn't get enough of. I'm happy you like White Collar. Not enough people know about White Collar.
White Collar's a fantastic great show.
It's an amazing show.
I will say, at $25 million an episode, and we need to do more on White Collar?
No, you're good. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, I should let you finish what you said. $25 million an episode. Continue.
At $25 million an episode, and the expectations of the Marvel Universe, you can't just make, like, 6 buddy cop episodes, like, at a lower budget. Like, you can't just roll up and do a White Collar or a Castle or a Bones or a, like, whatever else, right? Those are, like, way lower budget because they're real simple and you don't need 80 million different special effects, right?
No one competes. Like, no one is doing what Marvel is doing. Marvel has set, like, a new standard, but it's a standard that no one can reach. Marvel and Disney have a stupid amount of money that they can just throw at stuff. That you look at it and you're like, how do the DC shows, how do the CW shows compete with this? And the answer is they don't. They stay in their lane because Marvel is in a different league than any other TV show these days. They're spending more money. I mean, 150 million is a movie budget.
Yeah.
TV shows don't do that.
And you have to look at, like, what's their monetization option? The TV shows, it's not releasing in theaters. They can't do the premiere access or anything with it. You're not running it on, like, a network. It's not like you're collecting advertising revenue from it. So you're just pushing subscriptions. And I gotta say, like, it'd be awesome for us to get 10 extra episodes where they, like, build out the storyline a lot more slowly and everything. But they accomplished what they wanted in 6. And another 10 episodes could have been another $250 million that they didn't have to spend because there's literally zero gain from it. So
that's a good point.
These 6 to 9 episodes they're probably looking at it and going, what's the minimum we need to tell this story? Because I do think that they want to pack a lot in. And I also think that if you extend too much, honestly, you add a lot of potential for plot holes, and, like, they tie up everything in that universe really, really, really well. Other than her being blonde. Other than that, they do a great job. And I think when you extend it for too long, you give too much space to explain things they want to leave mysterious, which limits their flexibility down the line with story building. And then I think you also add a lot of risks. Plus, it just costs a bunch of money. So there's, like, no benefit for them to add more episodes.
No, it's a good point. I didn't think too much about, like, the fact is you're right. They did tell the story that they wanted to tell. And all the other stuff is fluff that I think we want to watch because we just like wasting our time watching TV shows and enjoy the stories and the characters, and we just like to see them on screen more often. But the end goal is that they are trying to tell a specific story, and they did that. So, and that's what they really wanted to get out of it. So that's fair enough. You're right. Someone mentioned apparently Sif is Heimdall's sister.
Yes.
So that's that. But what was that? Oh, what I wanted to say, we were talking White Collar. All right. So I know I'm digressing. Are you a Leverage? You watch Leverage, right?
No idea what that is.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. How did you not watch Leverage? You're telling me you watched White Collar and Castle and you watch all those and you don't watch Leverage?
I have no idea what that is.
You need to watch Leverage. If you liked White Collar, you'll like Leverage. It's a heist show. It's them just running a bunch of cons and stuff on a bunch of people. It's a team meets White Collar, I guess.
Got it.
It's a team of people. They got, the muscle and the hacker and the thief, and they got all that. They got the mastermind. They got all these people.
Do they have the demolitions expert with the British accent? Because Ocean's, An Italian Job, and every other heist movie has set my expectations that you need a British demolitions expert, or it is not a proper heist.
No, they do have a British woman. She's the grifter.
It's not the same.
They
It's
do
not-
have.
it's not
So
the
they
same.
do have. They do use explosives. The hacker does it, right? Is they do at times they have to blow things up, and so the hacker is like, I'll figure it out. It's fine. So he does it, which he is the version of the demolitionist. I always compare. It's a. Oh shoot! I had his name and now I've forgotten it. I've forgotten his name. I really like him as an actor, but he is similar. I actually compare him a lot to Mos Def, who is the demolitionist from Italian Job. So it is. If you like Italian Job, it is the same like team as Italian Job. It's different actors, but it's the same group of people doing a bunch of heist TV show. It's very good, and you should re-watch it. I think you will get addicted to it.
Mhm.
But the reason I mention this is they just released a new season. This show ended like 6 years ago, but they have a Leverage reunion where all the actors, except for the main actor, who was the mastermind of it all, because he kind of got wrapped up in the whole Me Too movement, and it turns out he's kind of a shitty human being. So real shame about that
not
one.
around
But
anymore.
yeah, point is they brought back all the characters. Apparently they're not in every episode, but they brought back all the characters and they're using them for this new TV series, which is another short. I can't remember. It's not Leverage Reunion or something like that, but it's something along those lines. And I haven't started it yet, and I'm dying to, because Leverage is absolutely one of my favorite shows that was on TV. So, and I feel it's very much a show you would enjoy. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I think I watched it on Amazon Prime.
I'll go
Leverage.
hunting. We'll see if we can find it.
I guess it's on Apple TV. I think there's more options.
Well, we'll go hunting.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
gonna
find it. Redemption. Leverage Redemption is the new one.
Got it.
I think it is. I think that one is on Apple TV, but I believe you can watch all of them on Amazon. So the original series, unless they've taken them off recently. So you can do them on Amazon. I think I'm pretty sure that's where I watched it. So. Anyways. I guess back to Loki.
Yeah,
but that was
that show.
another one of those concentrated distractions.
So
Where are we at?
I mean, we've talked about the story.
Characters and story.
I mean,
I guess we haven't really talked. What did you think? Did you like the way, alternate version Lady Loki having feelings for our Loki? Was it weird? Yeah. I love that they mention how weird it is. Owen Wilson's character is like, are you serious? Did you really just fall in love with an alternate version of yourself? How narcissistic are you? Like, insane. But I was into it. I'm a romance guy. I like this. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it, okay?
I think that it made sense. Like, it made sense, right? They are that narcissistic.
Yep.
Like nothing else would fit. Here's the thing is, in order for a romance to resonate, you have to trust that the romance exists as a viewer. It has to be believable that the people are invested in it. And the only Loki romance that you could believe in, that you could believe a Loki would be like committed to, would be another Loki. And
another Loki. Yep.
Then you're like, but do we trust Sylvie? Do we? And you're like, I don't know. But like, in order for a romance to feel like something to a viewer, you have to trust that it exists. And so I thought it was well done. Like, I didn't think it could have happened any other way.
And I think the ending worked out so well. I actually really liked how this series ended, is they threw that whole the whole wrench into it, where Loki is, once again, he was playing, he was coming out of the whole self-preservation, trying to be like, what if Kang is telling the truth, and if we kill him, it just ends up he just comes back, because it just recreates the entire he stopped the whole multiversal war, but now it recreates it, and then it's him again, but maybe eviler or something. And he's like, what if? And, Sylvie was not having it, but this is the one time that it turns out that he was actually correct. Loki was actually right in this scene, and it's like,
I know. I was like, oh, no, he's actually gotten it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a fan. As I said, I would have liked a little bit more character development for the relationships with the characters. I would have liked to see more of it between specifically Loki and Mobius, like you said. I love Jonathan Majors. Oh my goodness. Jonathan Majors. He's the guy who played He Who Remains, which, this is the spoilers, if you don't know, is Kang the Conqueror from the comics. Now, this version of him is very different from the one in the comics. Kang the Conqueror in the comics, he was a physicist from the future. He learned how to time travel. But he decided he was going to, the story with him was his name, something Raw. He-Ra, I don't know. That sound, not She-Ra. That's a completely different universe. But, he went back in time in Egypt. Apparently he built a spaceship and he made it look like the Sphinx. And that's how they described how the Sphinx came to Egypt, exists in Egypt, is that it's actually a spaceship from a guy from the future. So it was a whole thing. And then it turns out that's where the Fantastic Four also accidentally traveled back in time and happened to be there. And then so they stopped him in that timeline. And so it's a whole bunch. But his whole character is that he wants to be in power. He wants to be in charge of the universe by the end of it. And he's trying to save the universe as well. But I actually think that this version of Kang the Conqueror was way more interesting. Yeah, so it combined him with He Who Remains and Immortus. I love this origin for it, where I think it was way more interesting that it was like one dude, basically every version of himself learned how to travel interdimensionally. So they just start a giant war with each other, which is true. I think that's exactly what would happen, which is scary when you think about it. Besides the fact that time travel can't happen, it's literally impossible. But, well, no, you could do it, but you would die. You ever thought about this? Here's the thing. More digression. When you time travel, where do you think you end up?
What do you mean?
You end up floating in space.
As you time travel, or that's your destination as you float in space?
That's your destination. It'll always be space. Unless you learn how to both time travel and positional travel. Because the Earth is not in the same place where it was.
Yeah.
So if you travel in time in 2030, and you travel back even a year, I mean, we're currently hurtling through space at thousands of miles a second. So if you travel in time, you're actually just going to teleport yourself to the middle of space because Earth is back where it was that many years ago or whatever it is, right? Because we're constantly expanding. So you can never do that because when you time, unless you have positional traveling as well, which again would take way more math because then you have to calculate exactly where Earth was at the time that you're going to be traveling, which sounds way more.
Yeah,
so,
that's really complicated.
Yeah, it's again things that people don't think about. But yeah, we know Earth or the space is expanding, and we know we're shooting out thousands of miles of a minute. So if you time travel, even if you traveled in time 5 minutes back, you're still not. Earth is gone. It's way gone. So. Things people don't think about, but
yeah, I had not processed this before, so this is new for me.
Interdimensional travel, that's a different scenario.
Yeah, rather than time, just hopping a dimension.
Yeah, because if there's infinite universes, technically there's probably a universe where Earth is in the same location because it's traveled the same way. And then, anyways, point is, Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror was incredible. Great job. If you haven't watched Lovecraft Country, that's the other show that he's been on recently. It's an HBO Max. phenomenal, amazing like creatures and stuff. Very fun. It was very good. I honestly, I haven't finished it, but it was very good at the beginning. And I heard it kind of peters off further on, but it deals with the whole Cthulhu stuff going on and all those kind of creatures from Lovecraft, all the creatures from the Lovecraft kind of universes and stuff. And it's really cool. But he's been in that, and Jonathan Majors is fantastic. He was I loved his character. I loved his version of Kang the Conqueror. So I thought they did a way more interesting story for him, and Jonathan Majors killed the role. So
I think that the actor played the role and the character magnificently. And I guess I'll leave it at that, because this is the positively reviewed podcast.
About what? Wait, hold on. Did you not like
Kang?
Wait.
Not at all.
Yeah. No? Why
Drove
not?
me off a cliff. So annoying. So annoying. That's the point. The point of the character is to be really annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
so
he's been by himself.
Done.
He's kind of gone insane. He's been alone in this middle of the universe of a timeline by himself for decades at this, like, for who knows how long at this point. So yeah, he's a little loopy.
Yeah. They accomplished their mission well, but it was a little bit like Umbridge in Harry Potter. Like, she's so
I'm trying to remember.
infuriating. I refuse to ever watch or read. I refuse to ever read the 5th Harry Potter. Ever. I read it once. One time, that woman was so awful, well created. That's the point of the character that I can't read the book again. And that was just a little bit of the Kang vibe. Was he really irritated me? Which, like, well done. That's the point. But like, it was annoying.
I like he did the whole extroverted but introverted at the same time, right? He's definitely an extroverted kind of. He's a physicist who learned, so he seems like an introverted guy, but he's so excited to have some kind of contact after very relevant to quarantine times. That he's gotten a little loopy. I enjoyed it. I thought he did a great job. And as I said, Kang's character, like we were talking about in the comics, someone did mention is supposedly in the comics he is a descendant of Reed Richards, so Mr. Fantastic. He's a long descendant of that character. And that plays into the whole story. But yeah, I enjoyed. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait. We know they're gonna do more Mr. Fantastic. I'm excited. I was really hoping. That was my suggestion. I was like, I really hope that a lot of people talk about Galactus for the next phase of Marvel is going to be the new Thanos. I think it's Doctor Doom. I think Doctor Doom would be a more interesting than Galactus. I think Galactus is because Doctor Doom, he gets ridiculously powerful, and he's also a way more interesting character as the actual savior of Earth, of humanity. So the whole thing.
I would want something that will absolutely never happen. But if we're talking legacy and what we want to see next and what this feeds into and everything, I would love to see Apocalypse as the next villain. And it won't happen.
Well, they are bringing in
basically Thanos.
They are bringing in X-Men though at the same time. So they I think there's a total chance of all that, because X-Men is also, I don't know when they're going to do it, but we know they're working on it. I know a lot of people are like, WandaVision, that's how they're going to do it. They're going to create mutants. And I'm like, come on. Look, Marvel, and not always, but Marvel is a lot smarter than all of us. They know how to tie in their shit really well. So I think they're going to have a really big reveal for it. So I think it's a total possibility.
X-Men is my favorite.
I don't know.
Of all times. X-Men's my absolute favorite. Honestly.
To be honest, I'm not that big of an X-Men fan.
I love them so much. I love X-Men to death. I love them so much. And the animated ones from like the 90s are incredible. And
those are classic, I will say, yeah.
Both X-Men animated series hint and build and move towards Apocalypse. And both of them got canceled before they explored it. So both of them beat Sentinels into the ground for like season after season after season as a concept. and then did all of these awesome teasers about Apocalypse, and then show ends. And I'm just like, why? And then the Apocalypse movie was a huge letdown. So
yeah.
I'm just like, please just like give me this. Like Marvel MCU, like do it properly. Give me my X-Men. The problem is I'm so attached to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Well, you heard there are rumors about this happening though, right? Unless it was them effing with each other, there was a whole thing of Kevin Feige hanging out with Hugh Jackman. Hanging out, and they made a joke about Wolverine. I know, but I mean,
like Logan was upsetting.
He's got his new movie coming out. I mean, yeah, he's old, but I know he always wanted to. That was always his dream. He was like, he would have loved to be in Avengers movie, fighting alongside Iron Man and stuff like that. But he did say after Logan and stuff, he's like, Marvel didn't buy up X-Men quick enough, and even after the acquisition, they asked if he would reprise. He's like, nah, it's a little too late for me. He's like, I wanted to, but I think my story with Wolverine is over. And I'm like, no, please.
They can multiverse cameo him in.
I don't know.
That's what they can do.
I don't know. I think they could still. Yo, you know what? I would be okay if they just go whole old man Logan for him. I'd be totally okay with if they do old man Logan, Hugh Jackman for all of the Marvel Universe stuff. I'm down for it.
No.
I'm into it.
I'm not.
Why?
No.
You don't like it?
Because Wolverine regenerates. He doesn't age.
Yeah, he does.
Literally.
That's the whole thing.
Any other X-Men.
No, he ages. It's just really slow. But I mean, also, the whole thing is the adamantium in him is poisoning him. It's over years. It's slowly poisoned his blood, and now it's slowly changing, so his regeneration factor doesn't work.
No.
Old Man Logan is a great.
No.
Did you watch the Logan movie?
Unfortunately, yes. If I could wipe it from my brain, I would.
What? It is one of the best superhero movies. It is two gay guys take their adopted daughter on a road trip. But as superheroes, it's an amazing story.
Wolverine is untouchable, unbeatable, pinnacle of perfection. All right? You want to mess with that? I don't want to watch it. All right? You disrupt my absolute, pedestal Wolverine, and we're going to have problems.
Well, you're right. The only way they really killed him in the comics is they covered him in adamantium. He got frozen. He got covered completely in adamantium.
So he got Han Solo'd.
He got Han Solo'd in adamantium. So, but... yeah, I don't know how you didn't like Logan. It is probably one of the best superhero movies of all time.
I'm not saying it's not well done.
Just throwing it.
Or that it's not good.
No, I'm just saying.
But it takes two of my favorite characters and treats them in ways I significantly dislike. Because I also love X-23, but not as a 12-year-old. Not like that.
Yeah. I could agree. That actor is great. I still gotta continue his Dark Materials, but yeah, no, I agree. Well, they're talking about they might for again Young Avengers. There's a chance X-23 comes into the universe with them as well.
I will take it.
And I think was there talk about it, but X-23 is technically Wolverine. I'm just saying. He's a clone of Wolverine.
Yeah, so. I'm good with that.
But I'm excited. I'm excited for the direction Marvel is going. I think they got a lot of things cooking. So it's a lot. Like we mentioned, Thunderbolts. If you haven't watched Black Widow yet, you should, because Thunderbolts will come up with Yelena and stuff like that. Young Avengers, like I mentioned. Marvels, they're doing Secret Wars. Everybody gonna be Secret Invasion. Everybody gonna be a Skrull. Everybody's just gonna be a fake Skrull.
I totally forgot about that already. How did I already forget about that?
Because there's so much. They are doing this is what I was saying earlier. They are doing so much stuff that people are gonna stop watching everyone and only do the ones that they care about. They're gonna have to do the comic route where it's like, yeah, I want to watch all the crossover stuff, all the Avengers things, and then I'll just follow like Spider-Man because that's the one I care about. But they're doing so much stuff, man. Doing a lot.
All right, are you ready to give Loki a rating?
Yeah, I think that's about time. How much time are we at on this? Hour 40. Yeah, it's fine. I think I actually don't think I have anything to cut out, nor do I want to cut out. But we have that little extra segment, so hopefully I'll try and get it under an hour 40. But this might be the new length. I'd be okay with it. I don't know. We'll discuss that. But Loki, rating. I'll give it a. This was my favorite. I will say this was my favorite out of, surprisingly, this is the one I thought I was going to like the least amount, but I think this was my favorite out of the Marvel TV shows so far, the three, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. And I don't remember what ratings I gave those, but I'll say 201 Kids in Ireland worth of a rating.
Stealing my rating. All right, hang on. I need a new rating now. All right. 147,154 iPhone 12 Pro Maxes. That's what I'll give it.
It's a pretty good amount. That's a pretty good Loki rating right there. So.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. Well, I think we've talked about where it goes from here. All right. Well, I'm gonna give you our humorous little random question here at the end.
Okay.
If Sylvie and Loki have a child.
Oh no.
Is that another Loki variant?
Yes. Only because they're both variants as is. So anything they do creates that variant timeline. So yes, if we want to get.
But like, no, but is it another Loki? Like not a variant. Like they are Lokis. This is another Loki variant.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, it's the son of Loki. I'm sure, does Loki ever have a kid in the comics? I actually don't know that.
But here's the thing. If they're both Lokis that had to come from an original point, wouldn't they both have the same DNA?
This is what I was talking about the whole thing beforehand. I'm just saying, no, they don't. I don't think they have. I mean, I think they have completely different DNA. I think they just have the same personality traits and the same abilities and stuff, but I think it's different DNA.
Okay, then it wouldn't be, because it was like, if they have the same DNA, then it would just be another Loki, because it would be a straight up clone, which is interesting to think about.
Yeah, I guess it, yeah.
But they don't.
Again, we talked about, is it masturbation? Is it incest? Is it something beautiful? I don't know. We don't know.
Well, they're different people, then they're completely
Yeah, they are different people. They have different DNA. That's a good point. I guess if they did have the same DNA, it would just be a clone. No, but I'm gonna go with no.
Food for thought for everybody listening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this long dive into the Marvel Universe that occasionally talked about Loki, we do have other episodes where we talk about Marvel stuff, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But we also have things where we talk about a Motionless in White concert or
America the Motion Picture.
Yeah, that was from another episode.
That's a trip.
Or taking a look at all the games presented in the E3 showcase. So you can head over to Positively Reviewed Podcast on any podcast platform. Just go ahead and search for that. You're going to find all of our episodes. And if you happen to do that, you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, if you're finding us on Podbean or iTunes or Spotify or anything, go ahead, follow the podcast, give it a like, give it that 12 out of 5 stars, leave a comment. Just all those things really help, help other people find the podcast. We super appreciate it.
Watch the other episodes. That's all I have to say. I mean, again, watch, please, my two things. One, you should definitely watch Harley Quinn. You should listen to that song Nessa said. I don't remember, what's it called?
Oh gosh, hang on. Fist of God by Evolution Empire.
Right. There it is. Go check that out. Nice and quick. Go check all our other episodes. We have some amazing. We got good episodes. Don't watch like the last 3, or listen to the last 3 episodes of the podcast. They're all very. I think we're doing a good job. I think we've done a good job. And please go watch Leverage Redemption. If you like Leverage, you need to watch Leverage first off, Nessa. But watch Leverage Redemption because I want there to be like 80 more seasons of this show. So please go watch. And then what we got next week? I don't know if you are able to see Fast, which I doubt because, like we said, there might not be an episode next week. We are going to do our best to try and make it happen, but we might be missing one more, which we hate. We apologize, but life happens. We're going to do our best to try and keep it going, but promise we will be back to normal one every single week after next week, hopefully. So please, like Nessa said, give us a rating. Let us know what you thought about Loki. If you got comments or anything, we love to hear. If we missaid anything, feel free to yell at us, being like, "Well, excuse me, but Lady Loki is technically a genetic clone of other." I don't know. Who cares? But go. Yeah, let us know. But watch Fast and Furious, Black Widow, or any of those. There's a good chance we'll be watching those. Talking about those soon. Black Widow, I think we should do a non-Marvel, unless they want another hour and 40-minute episode, because it will be. So, all right, though. Thank you guys all for watching, and you guys have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
See you, everybody.